Hello and welcome to the World Under-24 Ultimate Championships. We're here for the grand final of the mixed division. It's Japan and the USA, the Pacific Clash, and it's looking to be one hell of a matchup. Do stick around. I'm Max Stenstrom and I'm joined by Steph Marr in the commentary box.
Hello, we are so excited to be bringing you this game from beautiful Perth in Western Australia. It's a lovely place to be. It's a warm afternoon. It's about midday and sea breeze is coming in. It's looking nice. It's looking nice and hot.
The sun is shining, the wind is blowing. It's going to be one hell of a day, so stick around. Thank you and welcome back. We have the mixed division final. As we mentioned earlier, this is Japan and the USA. The USA fired up for a massive game as they challenge their old rivals. This is a matchup we've seen a number of times in a number of championships, and it's always a great game. I know I'm incredibly excited. I know Steph is incredibly excited. So settle in for a good one.
Yeah, we've got both teams raring to go. They're absolutely pumped. Of course, we had the men's final just finishing up before, so many of the USA players watching some of their teammates, some people that they've been training with, win a gold medal just recently, and they've got the medal in sight. They're ready to go. They want it. They're hungry for it. Both teams very hungry to show what they can do on the world stage in the grand final here.
I know the Japanese equally hungry. I was able to have a quick chat to their head coach before this match, and he emphasized how important this game is for all of their players. They're looking to play hard from the absolute get-go and play with exceptional spirit throughout. They have those two focuses that we're bringing for this match. He spoke about the joy of the game and how they just want to go and play the game. They're not trying to overcomplicate things. As so often is the case in grand finals, it's easy to get caught up in the emotion of the moment and start thinking too far ahead. They're trying to take it back to basics, which I think is an excellent idea as the stakes get high, as everything is ready, and the first pull will go up and the game will commence.
That's right. They just came to play some hard frisbee, take home a win. We've got USA starting out on offense here. Disc is in the middle of the field. It's gone down to Claire Revere, to Thompson, back to number 7, Fan. Just cycling through in the back end here. Put a shot out over to the far sideline. Number 75's got the disc, Dylan Best. Little backhand here, a little bit too much out in front. Unfortunately, Anna Thompson couldn't hang on to that one.
And now the Japanese with an opportunity to get an early break. We mentioned it's windy, it's nothing too severe, but the disc will bobble a little bit, and I'm sure the throwers will have to take it into account when they're throwing the disc upfield and into the teeth of this breeze. So the disc finds its way to Yamane, and there'll be a pick call as the play will stop. We see the Japanese working out of a vertical stack, and having had a chance to chat to some of the teams that they've played against, they mentioned that this Japanese team isn't your typical Japanese team. They don't run the offense that looks to focus on inside breaks nearly as much as some of the other Japanese outfits at this tournament. Instead, happy to work it down the open side, as you see they are doing now. Cramming it down that cram hole as they'll move it backwards and find Takahashi. And now they look to the break side, but it's through the hands of Mino, and the USA team will get another opportunity.
Captain Lowe, she's hungry for a win. Puts it up, nice little flick there. She's found Best. Over on the far sideline. Looks like the handler here is just ready to recycle it, get it in there, Fan with the disc, put it out into the middle, over to Kirsten Pojunas. Back to Thompson. Over the top there, and she's given it to Best again. They've got the goal line in sight. Oh, couldn't quite hang on to it. Unfortunately, there is no time for slippery fingers here.
No, you're absolutely right, Steph. In these high-stakes games, unforced errors like that can prove decisive. We've already seen a couple this point from both teams, actually. We saw a drop from the Japanese, and now one through the hands of the Americans.
Japan's going to work really hard to bring this upwind to get the score.
And they'll swing it out across the field, open up plenty of space on the near sideline. The disc in the hands of Haruma. The inside. As they move it backwards, content to play patient. The scouting reports coming into this game with the Japanese very willing to shoot long, but we haven't seen that willingness yet. Perhaps that's more a feature of their offensive line. This, of course, a D look, a D lineup from the Japanese. As Risa finds a target in Enomoto.
We're really seeing some just clinical disc movement from the Japanese here. Really confident behind the disc.
They're on the doorstep now. Yamane with the disc. A mere 40 centimeters from getting the opening break of the match. Japanese could not be closer. And a huge backpack and a goal. But that was a pretty physical play from the American, and the players do hug afterwards to show no hard feelings. But we've already seen the willingness of the Americans to put their bodies on the line and get very physical. We'll see how that progresses through the game. Hopefully not too many more backpack situations like that one. As we see again, a great effort from both teams really, having to leave their feet to keep possession alive that point.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of big bids already. Only a couple of minutes in that first point, and a couple of big bids flying all over the place. They really want it. They really want to get that gold.
That's right. Both teams have everything to play for here. Playing for gold, playing for glory. It's not often that we see a team beat the US in a final. They're the real juggernaut of this sport, as we all know. In the men's division earlier today, it was Italy and the US. A game that I'm the first one to admit, Steph, I did not expect to be as close as it was. And the US ended up taking it 15-13, but not after the Italians put the real fright into the US, leading at halftime.
It was a really exciting game. It was great to see. It was great to see the Italians put up such a hard fight to the US players, but just couldn't hang on in the end. The depth really was showing from the US players, and I think that this mixed team also has a lot of depth on it as well, as we have number 21 behind the disc. Moving it towards the back end here, Griffith with the disc. She sends it back to Johnson. And Johnson's got the disc again.
The disc now in the hands of Gucho Hannes. I had the pleasure of sitting on the bus with him the other day on the way to the fields. He said he was super excited to be here, as is Hikari Sato, as she makes a great bidding attempt, but it'll be an uncontested foul, and the US will keep the disc.
Nice one. We've got Butterfield with the disc, does a little one onto the close sideline. It's a big shot up in the air. He's got Johnson in sight. Brought it down, USA. Big rebuttal to get a score on the board. We've got USA 1, Japan 1.
John Stubbs to Tanner Johnson. That's a matchup I'm sure we'll see more of, or a connection, I should say. We'll see more of. John Stubbs. Little needs to be said about the pedigree of that family when it comes to Ultimate. His older brother having captained the US team at the World Games. And you can see that skill and ability runs in the family.
Athletic family, right? Pretty happy to get a goal up on the board after that first one scored by Japan. USA are looking to absolutely take the game.
For the first time this week, it doesn't feel like it's a strict upwind, downwind game. The breeze coming across the field, away from the camera, which will add a another layer of complexity and adjustment required of the throwers in this wind. We'll see how they adapt.
We've got Ing with the disc ready to pull from the left side of the field.
And that will sail and sit in the breeze.
Looking pretty nice.
And an offside call, it appears perhaps, by the Japanese, indicating that the US were in front of their end zone line when they released the pull. One member only needs to be an inch across that line, and it will be an offside, and there will be a repull.
USA can't let that happen again, of course. They'll lose some yardage if they cross that line another time in the game.
Very true, Steph. You saw that. A mere foot in front is enough.
Just a bit too keen, I think, right, Max?
Yeah, the enthusiasm is great to see. The passion's great to see by the US team. Clearly keen to hustle down and put that defense on as fast as possible. But perhaps just a touch over-enthusiastic. They'll be sure to stay onside this time.
Michael Ing again. Nice pull. Almost exactly the same position on the field.
And Ohashi moves it sideways. Finds his player underneath. Tsukuda. Back to Ohashi. And Ohashi looking for the inside backhand. That's a difficult shot in this crosswind. Because anything in that direction will be forced down by the breeze, not able to sit up in front of your intended receiver. And now the US will have to work at the full length of the field as they have an opportunity to break.
Michael Ing with the disc on the front of the end zone line. What's he going to do? Does big fake. We've got Johnson with the disc now. Oh, just popped up over the top. Luckily, we had Tim Shock there to pick up the slop. Managed to hang on to it. Now I've got Ing again with the disc, and he's giving it back to Hardesty. Little backhand there. And now we're over on the far sideline with Sue. Back here to Hastings. He's shot it big one. Didn't get all the way. Johnson's come behind the disc. Looking for a little flick there. Back to Hardesty.
And
the stoppage on the field.
And the wind is really picking up. I'm sure you can hear it whistling through the microphones. We'll see how they adapt as that stiff cross breeze will force anything down that sideline to plummet to the ground.
The foul called by defense, uncontested.
These players know they've just got to put a lot of spin on it to keep that disc up in the air, let it fly, and adapt to the wind. We've got Hastings, punches it through. That was goal by Kirsten Johnson. Nice one. So the score is now USA 2, Japan 1.
Yeah, that was a lovely bit of composure from the US as they got close there, recognizing the difficult conditions, just waiting for a nice easy shot to open up, and then striking when it came. We also saw and heard the game advisors get involved. We've been very lucky at these World Championships to have game advisors doing their best, and we'll cross down to Ruben Berg for a little bit of insight on what just happened.
Yeah, so we just had a foul that was called by the defense. They felt like the offense had initiated contact with them. The offense said it was an accident, but that's fine. Most fouls hopefully are accidents, so it was uncontested there.
Thanks very much, Ruben. Our game advisors are mic'd up and will be doing their best to bring you some of the discussion that happens on the fields as they provide clarification on the rules when it's needed, their perspective if requested, and help to guide the conflict resolution process.
We're so grateful to have the game advisors spending their time helping the players out and making sure everything can get resolved quickly.
And the Japanese will play offense again. Let's see if they can steady the ship and hold as Maguchi with the disc. Expect to see a lot from Maguchi, not just this point, but this whole game. He has been nigh on unguardable in small spaces. Had a chat to the Australian coach in this division, and he said they put their zippiest defenders on him and they weren't able to shut him down as the disc finds its way into the hands of Yuka Sakai. And that's a quick offensive hold from the Japanese, making it look easy.
Absolutely, real quick one. Ready for that rebuttal, and Japan has just equalized it 2-2.
As we see the shot again, it's a lovely throw in difficult conditions. The Japanese known for their technical throwing ability, and while this team may not be what we call typically Japanese in their offensive style, that trademark skill and ability to throw in interesting shapes is clearly still part of this team.
Really seeing some clinical shots here taken by Japan. I think that's where we might see them come over the top of USA with those clinical shots. I mean, USA is also really amazingly skilled as well, but it's just a very different playing style, these two teams. USA really known for that kind of long game, hucks up in the air. We'll see if this next point will have some big shots taken in, because USA is going to come out on offense. Thompson's got the disc in the middle of the field. Sends it down to Ng. Back here to Thompson. On the flick side. Is it a score? Couldn't hang on to it. That's unfortunate. USA's got to really switch on this defense now to get back.
Yeah, just through their hands. Unfortunately, that's the third or fourth cold drop, as we see a great hold by Enomoto, having to leave his feet to keep that one alive as they'll rush it down this open sideline. And now they reach deep for Muroka, who does a great job despite the bidding Ng, and Japan secure that break. We've almost had more breaks than offensive holds this game already, as Japan go to 3-2.
Japan was so ready for that offense. As soon as the turn happened, they were just ready to go. I think that was amazing to see. That might get them over the line, Max.
Yeah, that quick style, that run and gun, not allowing the defense to set, really effective, as the defense doesn't have time to adjust and react and see what kind of offense you're playing. And you can often get on the front foot and then through quick movement, stay on the front foot all the way down the field. As we see here, a valiant effort by Michael Ng, but not quite enough, as Akifumi Muraoka shows his athletic ability and leaps to the skies for that one. The Japanese will look to get another one on the board. They'll come down in their defense. They've played a variety of different zoney and junky looks this week, especially in these windy conditions. But so far this game, sticking to their match, clearly thinking their agility and speed provides some advantages.
We've got Gucho Harness with the disc. A little bit of 1-2 movement. He's got the disc again. Seems like Japan's set up in a bit of a zone defense.
That's right. Commentators curse as soon as I talk about their match D. They come out and play zone. But good on them, showing a variety of different looks, trying to keep the US guessing.
We've got Stubbs on the sideline, just gives a little one back there. Sending it all the way to the other sideline. Just really moving it around the back, America. Calling his players under. We've got Griffith with the disc now. She's passed it off already. Back here to Ivers. I think that might be Hardesty that had it just then. Haven't really got any gainers yet, just really moving it through the back end.
Showing a lot of patience, this US team. Probably thrown 20 or 30 passes now for quite literally 0 meters gained, as they just go backwards and forwards, sideways.
They don't look stressed at all. They look like they've got a lot of patience with the disc. They're just waiting for the opportune moment to get a ground gainer.
Yeah, displaying the patience of the Dalai Lama. Not even slightly stressed, as maybe now they'll find an opportunity.
We had Best cutting deep, but didn't get a shot given to him. Got a bit more of a gainer, more towards the center of the field now. USA trying to work it through this Japanese zone. It looks like it's a tight zone though. Can't get into it.
Yeah, we often theorize on the sidelines, what is it about the US that makes them so difficult to beat? And often the answer is their adaptability. As we've seen just in the course of this point, they started off with a kind of big swinging style, looking for longer passes, incisive throws in the zone. And now they've switched that up already, trying smaller give-and-go moves, seeing if that will find them success.
It looks like every player from the US on the field at the moment has had a touch on the disc, showing that every single player is useful. They've really been moving it around a lot. Hardesty, she's getting in there. Hardesty's punched it through the middle there, giving it to Ivers. Back here to Gucho Hannes. Ooh, up in the air, and Japan has brought it down with a D.
Yeah, absolutely the purpose of that defense is to force the opposition to throw a lot of passes, hoping that eventually the opportunity will come, as it did there. And now Japan back into their vertical stack. Disc in the hands of Enomoto. And they'll look to work it down this open side. Seki. A little bit too far out in front as he attempted to swing back to the center. Sakura Sato not able to reel that one in despite the layup.
Best is ready for it straight away. He's got the disc on the close sideline. Japan set up that zone again. Graham with the disc. Over here to Gucho Hannes. Back to Graham with the long pants on. Interesting choice in this hot weather. It's like 35 degrees today. They've got a goal. That was Alison Griffith with that goal. Did a little jump layout for it. Got on the ground and brought it down.
And that's 3-3. Incredible patience and composure by the US in the face of that Japanese zone. Having said that, despite the offensive hold by the US, I think the Japanese coaches will be happy.
And we'll do our best to keep updated with the one other game that's going on at the moment. We've got the Australian Stingrays women's team playing Colombia, and just on the field behind us. And the score is 4 Australia, 2 Colombia. Colombia looks like they're about to get another goal though. Australia 4, Colombia 3.
And that match, of course, for the bronze medal in the women's division. So we will do our best to keep you updated. They're playing for glory in that one. And I know the hometown heroes, the Australian Stingrays, will be looking to come away with that victory.
Back to Japan versus USA on the showcase field here, field number 1.
The Japanese will play offense now. Scores are level. Neither team being able to convert the breaks that they've got into a lead, as we've had punch and counter punch by both teams so far. Disc with Ohashi. Japanese working out of a central stack. Swinging it. Noguchi. Noguchi has showed absolutely no fear in sending it along this tournament. One of the stat leaders in the assist department. Pretty impressive from a team at the top end of the division. So often, he is willing to do just that as he looks for Ohashi deep. Hastings in hot pursuit. And Hastings on incredible second effort. But not quite enough from Ryotaro Murakami.
I think Hastings got a little finger on that one. He's going to bring up the disc. JD Hastings, the spirit captain on the US mixed team, walking it up to the front of the end zone line.
That was an incredible play by Hastings. Just elevated so far up, climbed the ladder and got involved.
Got real high. USA setting up in a kind of split stack offense movement. We've got the disc on the far side. Over here with Anna Thompson. Centered in the middle to Revere. Back to Thompson, and flick throw. Found Shock. Butterfield's got the disc. Giving it back to Johnson. It was a lot to ask. Big throw into the back of the end zone. Couldn't quite get there, couldn't quite make the connection. Got to switch on offense, USA.
These tough conditions and these points with multiple turnovers will really test the experience of these teams. The US full of experienced heads, many of them having competed at college nationals in the US and at club nationals in both the men's, women's and mixed divisions. Claire Revere, who we saw bidding there, has done both. She's played for her country at the junior levels and is also a key part of the Seattle mixed team in the US who won nationals this year, as we have some collisions and a call.
Little tumble on the field. Looks like these players have all got up. Just resetting herself, putting the hat back on.
The Japanese distinctive in their embracing of accessories. They love the sunnies, they love the hats, the skins, the gloves.
Leaders in the accessories on the Frisbee field.
That's Muraoka, who'll bring the disc back into play. Muhashi reaches deep. He's got Maguchi. Maguchi about 5 meters out. Backhand into space, pops up, hangs.
Shock got in there and dusted it off. Got in there for the defense. We're going to have Anna Thompson picking up the disc. Seen a lot of great stuff from her this week and this game already. I think we're going to see some big plays from Thompson. Centers it in the middle of the field again. Over here to Hastings, who's put it up in the air. A little bit too much sauce on it, though. It's gone too far.
Yeah, very tricky conditions to get a throw like that to sit out in front. We'll see whether he can adjust the next one. Hastings, obviously, a very strong thrower playing in this handler role for the US team. Probably a good time also to thank you all for joining us on the stream. If you have questions or comments or thoughts, please post them, and when we get a moment, we'll try and take a look at those and answer anything we can. Do share the link as well if you've got friends and family who you think might be interested in watching this game. As we come to you live from Perth, Western Australia, in the mixed division final. Japanese in a vertical stack. Move it down the sideline. Not a lot presenting itself. Sasaki having going backwards. The US doing a great job at only allowing 2 or 3 meter passes for very little gain. And it appears we've got a fair bit of contact between Maguchi and Shock. They'll have a bit of a discussion about the impact of that.
That was a foul because I had position on this side of you, and then you ran this way and initiated contact while I was like this, and you came over this leg. I don't think I moved into you, so that's why I
push, I think, put on, しょうがない、you put here, one, left,
I'm the champion.
yes. What is he saying? Sorry.
多分ここに止まってたよ、僕はっていう人なの。
Wait, let's work the system
それはわかるんですけど、足当たった後に手でも当たってるから、こっちは出てるんじゃないの？
He's saying that he knows that you were here, but he says your hand also hit him, so maybe your hand.
Okay, so I think he initiated contact. He came into it. But if he feels that way, I'm gonna contest.
Okay.
Yeah.
So contested.
Yeah.
そうでしょう。
Yeah.
Still count. 6.
Thanks for that, Ruben. The difficulties of resolving calls across languages and cultures evident there, but in the end it being contested, and what looked like a bit of a desperation huck to the end zone will be a turnover.
Didn't pay off. Didn't pay off. We're going to have Anna Thompson coming to pick up the disc again.
these points, having plenty of turnovers. We're almost 30 minutes into this game, and we're sitting at 3 apiece. It's going to be a bit of a grind, it seems, in these tricky conditions.
Launches it. She's got Sue in sight. Sue's picked it up. Back to Johnson. On the backhand side. Sue's flicked it for another goal for the USA. Scored by Claire Revere, one of the captains on the USA mixed team. They've just come out in front. USA 4, Japan 3.
It looks like the US not willing to give up just yet in terms of grinding hard every point.
Love to give an update from the women's bronze medal match that's happening behind us. Australia is on 5, Colombia on 5. Australia's coming on offense. We'll do our best to stay updated with that game as well as the USA-Japan mixed final here.
The Japanese team we see before us is drawn from a number of different clubs across their country. They're a true national team. While a fair number of their players are based in Tokyo, they also have a strong representation from the rest of their country, particularly Osaka. And one of the big challenges of national teams like this is developing the chemistry that they need to be able to play together at the highest level. And it will be tested to its absolute limit in this final against the US, as they bring their athleticism and speed to bear against the Japanese quickness and agility. As we hear the whistles from the game advisors indicating that the time between points has now expired and the pool needs to be launched, as it is.
Is it staying in? Close to the sideline, but Michael Ng managed to keep it in the field.
Yeah, that was a nice pull. Landing just near the sideline, inside the end zone. That's what you want. As Nakano has the disc, but it will be sent back. The Japanese having favoured the vertical stack offense this entire game. They've been very content to work it on the open side. Haven't thrown a lot of inside breaks, as you might expect from a team such as this. That's a great D by the US.
That was Kristen Pojunis with that D. Amazing to see. We've got Michael Ng, just little shot back there, giving it back to Michael Ng. Hardesty had it. Gucho Hannes with the disc, knocking on the door, looking for the score. Brought down by John Stubbs, one of the captains. USA is extending that lead, 5 USA, 3 Japan.
Yeah, a lot of teams at this tournament have different ways of getting themselves in the right headspace for any game. They'll have pre-game rituals and things that they'll try and keep the same as a way to get their headspace into the ideal spot for every match, the zone of optimal performance, as I believe it's called. The US team, I know, every morning on the bus, on the way into the fields, have been playing songs and singing along to them. The other day I got their rendition of Ain't No Mountain High Enough, and it was very obvious to me that while this team is full of incredible athletes, they were not selected for their ability to sing. But their ability on the field is being displayed now. It's pretty impressive.
That's great, just showing a lot of spirit, and all these teams having a lot of fun here as well, keeping the spirits high, you know, just having a really great time in the sun with all their best mates on the team.
Something else that's keeping my spirits high this tournament has been the wonderful snacks coming from Emma and Tom's. They've been providing us with smoothies and juices and bars for all of our volunteers. We've got a 150-strong volunteer workforce this week, so they've been keeping us well hydrated. I've been enjoying their beetroot-coated nuts in particular. Each packet has the equivalent of 13 grams of fresh beetroot, and I've been really enjoying those. This was a timeout, of course, called by the Japanese, as the US had just put 3 in a row to go from 2-3 down to 5-3 up. And the Japanese feeling like they needed to break the momentum of the US, reset, recalibrate what they're doing perhaps, come back out with a fresh line ready to go and steady the ship a little.
I don't know if the mic is picking up the great little song sung by the Japanese fan sitting along the sideline.
I think you've got to say that in any game that the US play in on foreign soil, they're not often the favourite. Especially in Australia, we love an underdog. And the US are almost inevitably the favourites coming into big matches such as this one. So a lot of the locals and other teams getting around the Japanese, hoping that this game goes the full distance and right down to the wire. That's not to say the US aren't appreciated and loved by other countries, merely that everyone loves a good underdog story. Keen to see the Japanese do well. As the disc finds its way to Seki. And unfortunately, through the hands of Ohashi, another cold drop by the Japanese could prove costly, giving the disc up in such a short field position.
Number 9, Kristen Johnson with the disc. Gonna give a backhand there. Over to Fan, far sideline, and there's been another pick called on the field. Players just having a little discussion. Looks like they've resolved it. It's going to come in. Back to number 9, Johnson with the disc, giving it back to Butterfield. Backhand there, back to Johnson, and backhand again to Fan. Up in the air, but he's hung on to it, juggled it a bit, able to hang on to it. Henry Fan's got the disc. Butterfield puts it up. Eaten up by the Japanese.
They're beautifully read by the Japanese there. And they'll look to move it quickly, as we said earlier. Loving the quick run and gun when they get the turn, not allowing the US a chance to set. But the US managed to contain the Japanese momentum. Ohashi goes across field.
Big fake there.
Kondo doing a great job to move her mark around and open up the throwing channels that she wants. And we'll have a bit of a pick call downfield. This will be brought back in relatively quickly, which is nice to see. Seki at about the brick mark distance from the end zone. Will launch a backhand. That's a lovely throw out into space, but will be too far. Incredible bid by Ohashi, but I think that will be out the back.
Players on the field indicating that it was too far out the back. We've got Henry Fan coming to pick up the disc, one of the captains on the US mixed team. Walking it up, getting ready to initiate a play. US with the wind behind their backs. Finds Freund. Back here to Fan. Cycling through the back end again. Back to Fan. Freund's got the disc, sends it, just a little one there to Butterfield. Butterfield's looking to flick it, gets it away to Givel. Just slowly working it up. Nanga got the disc, giving it back to Fan. Knocking on the door, looking for the score. Perhaps there was a call. It's a timeout called by USA. Right at the front of the end zone.
You may have heard us talk about this during the week. Coach of the Australian mixed team, Max Howden's real fake stats that 80% of midpoint timeouts result in a turnover. We'll see whether the USA are the 80% or the other 20% in this case, whether they can defy the statistics and punch this one in. We have a look at that absolutely spectacular bid by Ohashi.
Just a bit too much in it,
Yeah.
right? They almost had that goal.
Quick update on the game behind us, the Stingrays and Colombia. It's now 7 apiece. Both teams will be looking to punch in the next goal and take half. That one's an absolute nail biter. Both teams neck and neck.
Close game here by the Stingrays. really showing a lot of heart on the field. Huge throw there.
Pulled down by Ava Mueller, who does a great job. One of the youngest players on the team as she finds Michaela Dunmore in the end zone.
That's, of course, the women's bronze medal match that's happening on the field behind us. Back in now with USA behind the disc. Fans got the disc. Giving it back to Johnson. Put it in for the score. USA is extending that lead over Japan. It's now 6 to USA, 3 to Japan. They've got to switch on, make the adjustments to get back in there.
That's 4 in a row for the US. The Japanese took a timeout after 3, hoping to reset and steady the ship and stop the bleeding, but it hasn't happened. The US just finding another gear that the Japanese haven't been able to respond to yet. One of the big boys on the US line that point was Joe Freund. I've heard that despite his large size now, at school he was known as Stick Boy, but we'll head down to Rubenberg for a quick insight to how the game's going so far.
I just wanted to comment on number 43 because I think in that point he did an amazing job of avoiding body contact on that block by the Japanese. In some of those situations you see people just crash headlong in, but he recognised the person was there before him and he pulled out and avoided that, and that's what we like to see.
Yeah, Joe Freund, not just a great player, but an excellently spirited one as well, and a lovely guy. As I was saying, he was known as Stick Boy at school. He was small in stature, not particularly thick, as some might say. He's clearly been hitting the gym and he's grown up a fair bit since. He's got to be one of the largest guys here, ruling the skies for the US.
Certainly on this field, certainly in this game.
And I believe he also captained the US juniors team in 2016 in Poland.
Another great pull here by Michael Ng. Japan's got the disc.
The consistency of his pulls has been pretty exceptional in these tricky conditions.
Yeah, the upwind.
Yuka Sakai. And now they look deep. Loads of space, but it may be slightly too far for Risa Oe. She'd found plenty of separation from her defender, but the throw was a little bit too much in this wind as it sailed out the back.
Disc being walked up now. USA is going to try and capitalize on Japan's mistake and get one in the goals. Looks off the big. Hastings with the disc. Hardesty, sorry. Back to Motiyaka. Hardesty's got the disc on the sideline, looking to put a big throw up. A little bit too much. Japan's going to come out on offense.
Both teams struggling to hit their targets in these difficult conditions. Doesn't feel like the defense has been necessarily forcing a lot of turnovers, but just putting enough pressure on, the throwers feel like they have to really throw it out in front. And they're not able to always complete.
It's a high stakes game as well. It's a bit of a mental game. Hopefully these players can keep a level head and make the shots that they've been training for, that they know they can get all the time. Sometimes the nerves just really get to the, especially in the gold medal match on the world stage.
Yeah, one of the real challenges of a game like this is trying to play your natural style, as I know the Japanese were keen to do, despite that added pressure. As we see, they reach to the end zone, a bit of a jump ball, and 2 players go up, and none of them come down with it.
A little bit of a bump there as well. Looks like they're having a bit of a chat.
What's the call?
No contest. Foul. Thank you.
Uncontested foul. Put it in the end zone.
That's excellent spirit as Hastings and Mino resolve that one quickly. And Mino brings the disc in on the goal line. Japan in a perfect position to punch this one in. Couldn't ask for anywhere better to have the disc, except for right about there. That's in the end zone. And that's a goal. Japan stop the bleeding and pull it back to 6-4. I'll also take this opportunity to update us on the bronze medal match. Australia have taken half 8-7. Kat Smith, one of the most experienced players on that women's team, just launching a huge backhand, almost the full length of the field, and found Sarah Perkins in the end zone for the goal. So that's 8-7 in the bronze medal match. Stingrays lead Colombia.
Let's have another look at that goal there by Japan. That was the last one scored. Nice little one, little pop into it. Made it look so easy. Just waited and waited for the perfect opportunity. Way to go, Japan.
Yeah, Yuka Sakai, very agile in those small spaces, and the Japanese feel very comfortable playing in them as well. Just a little pop. You only need 6 inches of separation when you're that close to the disc, and it paid off that time.
USA is coming out on offense. Again, we see Tanner Johnson behind the disc. Moving it through USA, getting it through that Japanese zone, and lots of quick movement. Way to get a couple of yards gainer. Johnson with the disc again. He's giving it back to Givol. He's gone over to the far sideline now. Japan has set up their zone again. So USA got a couple of really great ones, moving it quickly in there. Back on the far sideline to Thompson. Knocking on the door. Will they get another score? Back here with Thompson's got the disc. Givell looking over the top and looks it off. Gives it back to number 15, Johnson on the sideline going over the top. Will this be a score here for Revere? Gives it back behind her. Feeling the pressure from that Japanese zone, I think. Givell's got the disc, goes over the top to big man, number 15, Johnson. Over the top.
Oh, an incredible defensive play by Minori Yahata. You saw that the Japanese just forced the US to go sideways, sideways, sideways. Make so many passes, and in the end, the opportunity arose. But the Japanese have quickly thrown that away. Trying to huck it to Risa Oe, but well out in front. I'm sure the Japanese will set that zone again and force the Americans to throw another 150 passes as they head back downfield.
We've got Anna Thompson with the disc. We've seen a lot of great stuff from her this game. USA having to get into the danger area, back into their own defending end zone. Oh, it's been a turn.
Real deep in Callahan country, and that one will sail out the side of the end zone. Japan will have another opportunity to go 2 in a row and pull this game back.
USA's got to really tighten up that defense to try and defend this one, keep that lead over the top.
Takuya Seki will bring it back in. We'll see whether he can play that cool-headed role as the stakes raise. And he goes over the top and around the back. That's a lovely forehand to the fat side of the field, beyond the bidding arms of the US defender.
That was Givell there.
Lovely
defending
play
it. Big play, big D, but he couldn't quite get there. Japan's really worked hard to reduce that lead that USA got in the last couple of points. The score is now 6 USA, 5 to Japan, and Japan scored that last one.
That's 2 in a row for Japan. So far, it's been a game of momentum swings. Japan getting the first break of the game. And then the USA jumping out to a quick 4-point run and taking it to 6-3, and now Japan tightening it up again.
They've got to be happy with that result. Really taking it to the USA.
Yeah, without a doubt. One of the biggest challenges to beating the USA is always the belief involved, the mental and emotional state that you're in. You really have to have faith that you can do it, that you can take it to the US. It's relatively often that we see teams stick with the US in the first half and then get absolutely blown out of the water in the second. I know that the GB mixed team, when they played this USA team earlier in the week, went to 9-8, and then the game ended at 15-8. So it gives you an idea of the potency of the US second half, and we'll see whether the Japanese can play a full 100 minutes of great ultimate against them.
USA is coming out on offense now. We've got Gucho Hanas with the disc. Call made there, though. I think it might have been a foul.
Uncontested.
Uncontested foul. Passing it off here. Grauman's looking to get rid of it. Moving around the field quite a lot with the US possession. Far side, close side. We've got Stubbs with the disc now. Back to Grauman. USA just working it through. Again, like I said before, looking level-headed. Grauman with the long pants. Gives it back. He's got it again. Looking off that shot over the top. We've got John Stubbs. A little bit of 1-2 from John Stubbs. Sends it to the far sideline with a little shot there. Hopefully USA can keep possession and look for the right opportunity to get a gainer. They're moving it around the field a lot. Ooh, a little bit of a juggle there from Grauman, but he's managed to hang on to it.
And that juggle and situations like that will be the opportunities that the Japanese are waiting for. They sense that in these conditions, if you just make the US throw enough passes, the turnovers will come.
USA still got possession on the far side. Little one here. Johnson, I think, with the disc. Back to Grauman. Grauman's had heaps of possession in this point. That Japanese zone is just looking really strong. It seems like it's worrying the US offense. But he's found a space. USA really trying to get it in there. They've lost a couple of yards then, sending it towards backwards a little bit, but they've still got possession. Possession's how you win the game. 1-2, 1-2. Gucho Hanas has the disc. Looking around, gives it back. Gucho Hanas. USA, they've just got to hang on to that possession, don't they?
This is owned by the Japanese, really focused on preventing upfield movement, and it's clearly working. They're providing the US with plenty of opportunity to get open resets, always allowing them to reset the stall count, but stopping anything upfield, really containing the US's movement.
They've absolutely been shutting down that. USA's had to go backwards about 4 times with a couple of shots in a couple of plays. Grauman's just giving it off. Found a spot there, found a hole. Oh, foul called on the field
I thank you. I got hit on the arm as the disc was coming in here. And it made me unable to catch the disc.
I'm just here for translating if there's any difficulty.
Okay. It's possible it wasn't you and maybe it was him, but I got smacked on the arm when I was catching the disc. Right, so I'm calling a foul.
She's saying that she didn't hit you, and maybe it's him. But Takuya wa sawatta.
I pushed him.
You pushed him? Then there's no contest.
I reached to catch, but
He tried to catch the disc, but it.
So if it's accidental, it's still a foul.
Yeah, it's a foul. So.
Okay, so you need to either contest or ask from my perspective.
So,
I fouled.
okay.
Yeah, it's an uncontested foul, which is in front of the end zone for this guy.
Okay.
Sorry, is right here in the end zone.
So it's right here.
Yeah.
Cool. Are we good? Are we good? Cool.
Just make sure number 9. Make sure you're right here with the disc. Okay, and then you tap it in, and then you can move.
Tap it on the ground.
No, the defender will tap it in. Yep.
Right, so USA is keeping possession of that one. We had to have the translator come in just to help out a little bit.
Foul call.
It's a foul on the throw.
I called contact on the throw.
No, we're good. Uncontested foul.
Gucho Hanas is going to come in with the disc on the front of the end zone. Everybody's ready. Hands up. Sends it backwards. Over here to Shock had the disc. Giving it to Graham. Back to Stubbs, who flick passes over there to Johnson. We're on the far sideline now. USA can't seem to get through this Japanese zone at the moment. Graham's got the disc. Over the top. Number 8, Julia Butterfield scored that one. Just as I said, they can't get through the zone. They managed to find a way.
Yeah, that was a lovely throw from Graham down the line to Butterfield. Graham, as you said, sporting those track pants. It's an interesting choice. It's well over 30 degrees here in Perth, Western Australia. For those of you joining from us from the US, that's something quite high in Fahrenheit. I don't know. Everywhere else in the world will understand what I'm talking about.
Of course, we use Celsius here in Australia. It is a hot, hot day. It really is. Beautiful goal there by Butterfield. She managed to hang on to that. Really showed the US's patience with the discs. They held possession for probably about 95% of that last goal. Ruben on the field would like to offer a bit of insight.
Yeah, just comment on that fantastic example there. Even though there might be language barriers, we can get a translator in there and we can have those conversations and still have self-officiating work really well, even with language barriers.
That's right, Ruben. Thank you for that. Thank you for that comment. Of course, we can bring the translators in. Of course, that's allowed. Some of these players, English maybe won't be so strong with them, but we're glad to have translators to just help out where they can.
Yeah, it's one of the unique factors of this sport that even at the highest levels, self-officiation occurs. And it's great that we can see that spirit of the game preserved. There's Japan with the disc. And they'll move it to Ohashi. Immediately shooting deep. Plenty of separation. Murakami underneath it. He's right on the end zone line as his players flood through, and he hits Maguchi again. That was 3-pass offense, I think. That's nice and efficient, nice and quick. And that's exactly what you want out of your O-line after your D's just played an incredibly long, grindy point. Get the US O-line back out there. They haven't had a chance to rest or breathe, and they'll have to immediately play another point. I'm sure the Japanese will stick to that zone.
It was working so well. That Japanese zone was looking real tight. I think that it didn't really worry the US. They were cycling through and just resetting towards the back end. But they couldn't really get any they couldn't get any ground. It took them a long, long time to get the disc through and get a score. US did manage to. I think you're right, Max, though. I think Japan will keep that amazing zone in the field.
Yeah, clearly working, getting them turns and tiring out the US as well. The US has just called a timeout, which is a great opportunity for us to thank the Spud Shed Fresh Food Market for their support this week. They've been the fresh fruit sponsor of this tournament, providing apples, oranges, pears, and bananas all week long. I know the entire production team has been digging into those, as I'm sure many of our volunteers and players have as well. So if you are a Perth or Western Australian local and you have a Spud Shed in the area, do head on down. They've got wonderful fruit and veg, and they're also just wonderfully lovely people.
A score update from the women's bronze match that's happening behind us. Colombia women's versus Australia women's. I think that the score is 7-9. Colombia might have just scored, though. We've got, so that was the Australian women's on 9, Colombia 8. Getting very close to it. That game is amazing. We've got a lot of local supporters watching the Australian game. I know we're a little bit biased, interested in to see how Australia goes.
Yeah, the Stingrays are a squad that have been together for a long time, and they've been working towards this goal of a medal at this tournament for well over 12 months. They're now within striking distance as that medal dangles just out of grasp. They've still got half of ultimate to play, and it looks like it'll be a tough one as the Colombian team, led by the Cardenas sisters, will stick it to them the whole way.
back on Japan versus USA in the mixed grand final. Both of these teams are going to walk away with a medal. Who's going to get the gold and who's going to get the silver?
As the pull will be launched downfield by Akifumi Muraoka. And it will hang in this wind, but it may sail out the side.
It has. In fact, it has gone out. USA looking to take it from the brick mark.
And it looks like the Japanese may opt for a match-style defense at this point, despite the success of their zone previously in making the US throw a lot of passes. Obviously, the US was ultimately successful in scoring that goal against the Japanese zone.
Butterfield with the disc, and there's been another call on the field.
Just looked like two players got tangled up a little bit. Muraoka getting tied up with his opposite number.
Uncontested.
It'll be uncontested. Play will resume with the Japanese player allowed to make up the distance that he lost.
Griffith did manage to stay in the field. This is a stoppage, though, because one of the Japanese players seems to have fallen on the ground. I think there was a collision there. They're having a little chat at the moment, trying to resolve that.
Alright, so I'm going to contest.
Yeah.
Foul contest.
Contested? No.
Yeah, at the same time as the play.
Alison Griffith, number 6, with the disc on the sideline. Ooh, found him on the chest, found Best on the chest, but bounced off.
That was not his best effort, as the Japanese will move the disc downfield. It does look a little bit scrappy. They'll look to clean that up, I'm sure. Usually known for their disciplined play. Muraoka now moves it sideways as he finds Matsuki. And once more to Yamane. A lot of players within 5 or 6 meters of the disc can make things difficult, but they find a way out.
USA is just playing that classic match defense. We've seen heaps of it. They're looking to win this game with speed, height, and strength.
Yeah, it's not a tactically sophisticated approach perhaps, but it takes advantage of what many acknowledge as one of the USA's biggest strengths, and that's their athleticism and size and speed and strength. As you mentioned, and the Japanese will go cross-field with the outside-in forehand. And a beautiful throw into plenty of space as they find Kenta Hirano sliding in on his knees to secure that one. And Japan will level the scores at 7 apiece.
Ooh, it's a tight game. They've really worked hard to come back into it, Japan.
Really is a game of swinging momentum. We saw the USA go out to 6-3, and now the Japanese have leveled at 7-7. Both teams will look to get this next one and put it away to take half.
Nice big shot over the top of the stack for that Japanese score to equalize it. Of course, whoever scores the next point, we're going to have a timeout after the next point is scored because both teams on 7. Timeout is, of course, at 8.
Yeah, that is the half time as both teams sit on 7. And what is sometimes known in some parts of the world as Galaxy Point. Not quite the universe point of the whole match, but taking half often considered a very important momentum shift in the game.
Galaxy Point, that's a new one for me. I like it.
It's an original.
Hey, we're staying the course here, White. Stay in course. Stay on course. Stay on course.
The shout coming from the USA sideline now, stay on course. Let's just keep it up. The idea being that they're happy with what they're doing. They've just got to stick to their game plan and keep executing on it. We've seen a number of mis-executions, and that's how a lot of the turns have come this game. Whoever can get rid of most of those in a game will almost certainly come away with the victory as the pull goes up and will hang at about midfield.
Can the USA hold on to this offense and just work it through and get another lead and take half? Fans got the disc on the far sideline. Giving it here to number 28, Revere. Back here to Thompson. Nice one over there to Revere. Looking flick side, looking open side. Ing's got the disc. Giving it back to Johnson. Ooh.
Through the hands of Michael Ing, unfortunately. We saw Ing and Revere connecting well at that point. I had the pleasure of watching Revere play at the 2012 Junior Championships, where she cut up an absolute storm for the US women's team there. And now that is a timeout call on the field.
Mixing it up, playing on the mixed team this time.
That's right. Timeout call at this point, not wholly surprising as both teams recognize just how significant punching this one in will be.
Both teams showing a lot of heart on the field. They really, really want this score. They really want this game. They want to take home the gold. Can Japan do it instead of the favorites, USA?
Yeah, dethroning the US from a gold medal at a under-24 championships is always a difficult effort. And we'll see whether the Japanese are the ones who'll be able to do it. The Italians went close this morning in the men's division. We'll see if the Japanese mixed team can go just a little bit closer still. As we said earlier, if you do want to ask a question or send something in, please do on the live stream. We will check it when we can and get back to those with questions that we have answers to. May also be a good time to thank our travel partners at STA Travel. They have been our preferred travel partner for this tournament. So if you're planning travel in the near future, be it by road, by rail, or by air, they'll be sure to give you a good deal. So head on down to them or head on over to their website. SDA Travel have been serving us well.
It's up in the air.
As the Japanese look to Sato, pack grab underneath it, and oh my lord, Ryotaro Murakami elevates and goes above the Johnson defender, who is much taller than he is.
It was a huge one.
And Ohashi looks again for Murakami, but lightning does not strike twice in one point.
Unfortunately, cooked it a bit too long. We've got Henry Fan coming to pick up the disc, ready to start some amazing USA offense. Walking it up to the front of the end zone line. USA doing a bit of a horizontal setup. A lot of movement from the cutters, and there was a pick called.
Another bit of discussion about what exactly the stall count will be after that pick. And play will resume, the US having to work the full length of the field if they want to put their stun in and take half.
There's going to be a big huck to Revere. She's signaling that she's going to go. Revere's cutting deep. Doesn't go there, though. It's been reset into the middle to Hardesty. Ooh, looks like Japan got a hand on that.
Uncontested foul.
Immediately uncontested by Hikari Sato.
Alex Hardesty is going to take that disc again.
Hardesty's been a bit of the pivot for this US offense, not necessarily taking the big aggressive shots, but always providing the reset when they need it.
Ooh, Ng with a big fake there. Does the little one to reset it to Johnson instead, though. Bit of a gainer there. Over here to Fan, who sent it back to the middle. Giving it back to Thompson. Oh, Japan got in there.
Well cut out by Takuya Seki. And there'll be a bit of discussion whether there was a foul on the mark.
Heading back to
What's the call?
Thompson.
So when I threw it, she was hacking around. So.
Uncontested.
Uncontested foul by the mark on the throw.
So Johnson's got the disc. Sends it back to Michael Ng. Flicks it to the close sideline. Disc in the middle of the field now. USA looking to send it back to the handlers. Michael Ng found it. Over the top. Little pop shot there to Tanner Johnson. Flick back here to Ng. Ooh, Japan is going to come out on offense with that miscommunication. Unfortunately, USA couldn't hang on to it.
That's a great play by Ishii Risa. The Japanese, I was about to say they started to look a little tired on defense there, but Risa with the play gets the disc back for the Japanese. They'll have about 2/3 of the field to work as they bring it in on this near sideline. Expect to see Murakami go deep. The Murakami-Johnson matchup was electrifying last time. We'll see what happens this time, as there was a bit of contact between Ohashi and Ng. Johnson attacked that very early.
He got real high, but I think he just didn't quite read it. Go back to the library.
retracted.
Call is retracted, and the US will keep the disc as the turnover stands. That Murakami matchup with Johnson proving to be absolute fireworks.
Anna Thompson's going to come pick up the disc. One of the strongest handlers from the US I've ever seen.
Yeah, she absolutely dominated the mixed division at US
It's up in the air.
Nationals this year. Johnson Murakami again, third time lucky. Murakami coming up with it again. Despite giving up a couple of inches, it feels like Murakami is consistently
Foul
at the
on the
better of
throw.
Johnson. And we'll have a foul on that throw again.
He's got springy shoes, Murakami. Johnson's going to take the disc back at the end zone line. We're having a little discussion now.
As we'll have another look at this throw.
Touch me.
I thought it was as I was throwing, as I was releasing the disc. So do you want to contest it?
On the slow motion replay, from my perspective, it looks like the disc maybe was already out of her hand before any contact occurred.
Okay, I mean, right, I think we're disagreeing right now. I don't think we agree because I think that you hit my hand before I released it and you think that I hit your hand after I released the disc.
Okay, it sounds like
So
a
it
contest
sounds
then,
like a contest.
yeah.
It's the second or third foul call from that exact throwing match at this point. USA will get the disc back and play will resume.
Anna Thompson looking to reset it, I think. Looking at her handler. Now looking downfield. Shoots it long. She's got Henry Fan in sight. Got high and took it down. Henry Fan shoots another flick for USA to make another score. That was number 23. Number 28, Claire Revere with that score. Nice one, USA. They have taken half in the Galaxy point. Is that what you called it before, Max?
I did indeed. They have taken Galaxy Point. That was a great play by the US. Both teams turning it a few times that point. Both teams not afraid to keep shooting it long to some big matchups. And in the end, it's the US that come out on top, finding Revere in the back of the end zone, as they so often do. She's been incredibly potent for them downfield.
She's a powerful player. She's absolutely powerful. We've seen a lot of powerful plays in this last point. Here we got the replay. Ing just couldn't hang on to it. Kicks it. Another big play in the sky.
That was
Brought down
incredible
for that.
bab by Murakami. That guy has exploded onto the scene this tournament for the Japanese as a deep aerial receiver,
We're going to see great things from him in the future, I think.
without a doubt. In some ways, demonstrating and replicating some of the plays we've seen from the legendary Japanese player Matsuno. His incredible hops, well known.
Lots of huge shots been taken in this last game by both the American team and the Japanese team. Big, long game.
Yeah, neither team afraid to shoot long despite the trying windy conditions. And as we've reached halftime now, we'll leave you with these highlights, these memorable moments from the first half. Don't go anywhere though, and we'll come back in a couple of minutes.
to you? Why would you lie? Why would you lie to me? Just come and lie, just come and lie with me. I wouldn't lie, I wouldn't lie.
Welcome back to the second half of the World Under-24 Ultimate Championships. We've got the final of the mixed division here in front of you. The USA currently leading Japan 8-7. It's been one hell of a match so far. Big swings of momentum. The USA jumping out to a 6-3 lead before Japan pulled it back. And now it's game on as both teams play for gold and for glory, representing their countries here in beautiful Perth, Western Australia.
Quick update from the women's bronze medal match that's just going on behind us. Australia women's on 11, Colombia women's on 10. The crowd is pretty excited about that one, the home game. But now we've got Japan mixed coming in against USA mixed. It's going to be a big showdown between these two. Japan here doing the can-can on the sideline, looking very cute.
Yeah, they're clearly trying to support their teams, get the spirits high, get the energy high. One of the most difficult things in a big game like this, when you've got a big roster, is staying fully engaged on the sideline.
Japan's got heaps of little tricks to be able to do that. I've seen heaps of songs and dances and funny little rhymes and great stuff. It's really nice to see Japan like really getting around each other. Heaps of people on the sideline cheering for Japan. USA also, they're bringing the pull in.
And Japan on offense. Disc centered, quickly finds Maguchi again. Lovely inside backhand, incredibly low release. He's been doing his hamstring and groin stretches, that's for sure.
There's a little travel called there. Disc has gone back.
Yeah, no contest. The Japanese player sticking out his tongue, knowing that he took a couple steps too many there. As he finds Sasaki.
Ooh, got right in there. That was a hot shot. Nice D there by number 14, Stubbs. Real nice. USA has gone on offense. Can they get it through, make a bit more of a gainer? And another score here. Stubbs with the disc. Puts it up. Nice. Brought down by Kristen Pojunas. Just absolutely killing it. She's having a cracker of a game. Just super, super fast. She's been working really hard in the gym, I think. On the field as well. So USA with 9 goals. Japan with 7. It's anyone's game, absolutely. Oh, that was just such a great bid there by USA, getting right in there, stifling the Japanese offense.
Incredible athleticism by, I think that's John Stubbs.
Yeah, one of the captains on the US team. Killing it.
Stepping up big for them when they need some leadership.
And then that awesome goal being brought down by Pojunas. Really, really stoked to have that one in the hand.
Yeah, this USA team incredibly deep. Feels like they can look to any one of their many players at any point in time when they need something to happen, when they need a play to be made.
Looks like USA is opting to keep on the same line or a lot of the same players for their defense. We've got number 43, Joe Freund. Going to pull one with the wind behind his back. It seems like the wind's actually dropped a little bit in the last couple of minutes since half.
We'll see whether that favors the US or the Japanese more. Big arcing pull, may just land out the back. No, it doesn't, it's fielded by Maguchi. He moves it quickly to Ohashi.
What a pull, kept it in.
But now the Japanese will have to work very hard to get it out of their own end zone. Maguchi laying out just to keep it alive. This is not where you want to turn the disc over. Ohashi in the center. Finds Murakami. Murakami's been deadly when he's run deep, but here you see him come back under. As now the Japanese will reach again. Yahata underneath it. Will she jump it in? No, she will not. She's on the end zone, wide open. Eventually finding Masai. Nice and easy. That's 9-8.
USA is still in the lead, but Japan just with a huge rebuttal there, really smashed it in. Absolutely stoked to get that goal. Cute little hand signals. I love it. I love seeing Japan play. Probably the cutest team here.
They've got some great post-goal celebrations. I saw earlier in the week the Japanese men's team, when they scored, they all immediately sat down behind each other and formed a huge human canoe.
Oh, I saw that one. That was
rowed.
awesome. That's on the highlights reel, I think.
Yeah, they've been getting around each other, remembering to have fun while playing hard at the World Championships. It's very important.
A lot of players, you know, play better when they're in a really good mental state. When they're having fun, when they're with all their friends, smiling, excited about the game, you know, they play better. Although, on the other hand, some players really play better when they're feeling aggressive and feeling like mean on the ground and ready to show some big plays, big danger on the field.
Yeah, every player different and unique in the way that they need to get their head in the right spot before every game. Can just bring you a quick update from the bronze match in the women's. Australia have jumped out to a lead. It's the biggest lead of the match, I think, at 13-10. Can also report that, unfortunately, one of the Cardenas sisters, I'm not sure which one, potentially Manuela, was injured, and she has had to be carried off the field. So we do hope that she is okay and we're back on the field soon. But that will be a significant loss for the Colombians in the meantime as the US play offense.
Gucho Hanas had that one. Back here, Gucho Hanas got the disc again. Hastings, no, my mistake, Hardesty had it. USA looking unfazed, bringing it up really quickly. Back to number 9, Johnson. Hardesty's got the disc, sends it back to Johnson again. Just moving it through, looking calm. Grauman's got it. Oh, great effort there by number 6, Alison Griffith, looking so strong. Took a big dive and couldn't hang on to it. It was right in the end zone, so Japan's going to come out on offense.
And they will bring the disc back in at this front corner. Stubbs on the mark. They'll go to the center, opening up the space as they reach deep. Muraoka launching that one. Let's see if he can find Mino. He does find him. That was an incredible take on the end zone line. And the quick flip for the goal.
Japan's just equalized it. It's 9-all with that Japan score. Amazing. I think Japan's got the last 2 to bring it really close.
Utterly ruthless after the turn. Japan having to go the full distance, but making it look incredibly easy there.
You know what? USA not letting it stifle them. They've got their chins up, lots of high fives on the field. They're pretty excited to come out on offense now.
It really has been a game of momentum swings. Feels like one team will come on top for a couple of points, the other will adjust. I guess the question that remains to be answered is which team can continue to dig into their toolbox of plays and styles and structures and looks to keep being able to respond to what the other team throws at them.
Who's going to walk away with the gold, Max?
At 9 apiece in the second half, I'm not sure if I'm willing to put my money on either team. I'm not much of a gambling man, but I'm going to back the underdog. I'm going to throw it out there. I'm behind Japan all the way. Let's see this happen. I believe.
USA is looking pretty strong, though. I think they might be able to take it, and then USA will have ended up winning gold in men's division. Can they win the gold in the mixed division as well? Only time will tell. We'll have to wait and see.
We will indeed. We will indeed. I know coming into this tournament, some of the pundits out there, the armchair experts, were saying that it was the mixed division that the US had wrapped up the tightest. And there was no chance of anyone challenging them in that space.
That's absolutely fake news. Japan has been challenging it in this game.
Exactly. Japan have got different ideas, and they're showing them now.
We've got Givol with the disc. Japan looks like they've set up that amazing zone again. Can US offense get through it? Givol's got the disc again, sent it back to Anna Thompson. Givol's got it. Looking over the top, sends it back. Johnson's got it. Givol again. Bit of 1-2, 1-2 from these two. Thompson sends it back. Fan shoots it over the top and gives it to Best.
The Japanese in one of the zones that they employed earlier, looking to make the US go backwards and sideways. As the US now deep in their own end zone.
Back to Thompson. Dangerous place to be. Scooped up there by Pojunas over the top. Back to Best. Fan's got the disc, giving it to Johnson. She's going to give it back to Fan. No, she's gone to the break side, giving it back to Best again. Best, great shot, over the top. Found Revere, ooh, on the ground there. Hung on to it. Number 0, Givel's got it, had to lay out for it, but managed to hang on. Johnson's got it, slammed it through the middle, back to Best, and then Fan again. Everybody's getting a hand on the disc, everybody's touching it. It's truly a point with everybody helping out. There's been a call. It was a travel.
Travel call.
Looks like a travel call, and it looks like it was called by Takuya Seki. There'll be a bit of discussion as to how many steps he took, etc.
USA has been commanding this last
I
point.
would agree that I pressed things guts, but I didn't change which way I was going. I stayed straight, so I don't think it's a foul. I mean, I don't think it's a travel.
If it's a zone, let's drop back.
Because I didn't change direction, I just kept going straight. I'm not sure.
So I can give clarification on the rules.
Yeah.
The rules do say you have to be slowing down.
Okay, we can bring it back.
Okay.
And the disc will go back.
Wait a second.
Yeah, y'all weren't back here.
Is this okay?
Thanks for getting in there, Liam, our game advisor. One of 4 game advisors for this game. Best has the disc. Sent it over to the far sideline. Over the top. Slams it in for another score for USA.
And Claire Revere with the basketball shot celebration to make that point.
She's
final.
a baller. Absolute baller, Claire Revere.
She is indeed. And speaking of ballers, the Australian women's Stingrays have just taken it to 14-11. They're on the doorstep. It's game point in that one, and we will try and bring you an update as soon as the result of that match is known.
Oh my gosh, is Australia about to get another medal? It'll be a bronze. Have to wait and see. That's in the women's bronze medal match, Colombia versus Australia.
Yeah, the Australian men taking the bronze in that division. We'll see if the women can replicate those efforts.
Coming up after the mixed game, here we'll have the women's grand final.
We will indeed, and that will be between the US and Canada, a real matchup. El Clasico of North American Ultimate, as we often say.
Come all the way to Perth just to play your big sister.
That's it. As USA set to pull, it'll be John Stubbs that sends this one down. Incredibly experienced player. He competed with the US men's team in London, the World Ultimate and Guts Championships in 2016, and is now playing his ultimate for the mixed team here in Perth as Maguchi fields that pull and finds Ohashi to Sasaki. The US staying tight to their players in this match defense, doing their best to contain Japan and make them work extra hard. Ohashi, a pick call by Hastings. Ohashi won't have a problem with that, recognizing that he ran straight past his compatriot Kondo as play restarts. And we've got a violation.
Many of the US players got the war paint on the cheeks, ready to go, looking dangerous, looking ready to play. Hastings rocking some headband and war paint combo.
Yeah, the eye black, most usually worn when playing under lights, but Hastings feeling that it could aid him here in the sunny conditions of Perth. The players having a bit of chat about when exactly the play will resume, the stall count of that situation. And the translators now coming in to help assist with the communication efforts.
That play never even started, so we're just interested in what the stall was when the pick occurred.
Yes, it was 2.
It was 2, so that's what we're going to come in.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, great.
So we heard there through the game advisors that the stall count resumes on 2, and Ohashi will provide the reset that Japan was looking for as they find Maguchi. Finds Murakami. You feel like they're running with a little bit of extra juice in the legs right now. As an incredible defensive stop from the US.
Not enough. USA's got right in there. John Stubbs behind the disc. Giving it over here to JD Hastings, Spirit Captain. Back there to Hardesty on the close sideline. Resets it back to the handler. I think there might have been a pick though.
I'll take this quick break to mention that in the women's game, Colombia have scored. That one's not over, it's 14-12. Despite the best efforts of Kat Smith bidding on an upline cut from the Colombians, it's now 14-12 in that game. But back to this one, as the US shoot deep.
Ooh, couldn't quite get there, Stubbs. I think the disc was spinning away from him and he just couldn't hang on to it. USA is going to tighten up, come out on defense. Japan's looking for the equalizing score here. Of course, the score is 10 USA, 9 Japan.
Maguchi will bring it in. No dump around. Immediately Ohashi goes deep and immediately Maguchi shoots. Ohashi so quick, so swift. Incredible layout.
He got so fast, right? Oh my gosh. See his legs going? I could barely see him.
Left Hastings in his wake. Well behind him, but it was not quite fast enough to catch that laser beam from Maguchi.
A hasty throw over to Grahman, who just ate that up. Flick side over the top. Oh, a bit too high, and it has gone out of bounds, out of the field. Japan's going to come in with offense.
They're only 10 meters out. This is the opportunity they were looking for. Short field turns, incredibly costly, because they give the opposition an easy shot to the end zone, but right there, they shoot over the head of the intended target, but there will be a bit of discussion.
Grahman seemed to get to the disc first and scooped it in the end zone. Our game advisors have just jumped in for the chat.
Okay, so you get the disc here, and then and come to the front. Oh, okay.
Big thank you to Hannah Monty, our game advisor. She's been doing an excellent job all week, as the disc is now in the hands of Kendo. Goes back to Ohashi. As Murakami, Ohashi goes over the top to Maguchi. There's a huge hammer slicing it, and Maguchi holds on. But there's a pick call.
Doesn't take away from the great effort there by Maguchi. It's totally his game. He's just killing it.
He has been absolutely unstoppable. They've tried a number of different defensive matchups, and none of them seem to have slowed him down an inch. So you see that hammer. Incredible shot to loads of space. Real visionary throw, but it will come back. Would have loved to see that immediately again, but Kendo now. About 2 meters out. Goes back to Ohashi. Ohashi. Back to Kendo. They're willing to play give-go in small spaces. And Japan punch that one in at the front of the end zone. That's a goal. That's 10-all. Everything's still to play for.
Very exciting on the USA vs Japan game.
And Steph, Australia have won. That's 15-12 in the women's. Australia with the bronze medal. The Stingrays have come away with it as we see them rush the field and celebrate. Michaela Dunmore pulling in that final goal. She's been a huge target for them all week. And that's the game.
Amazing. So Australia has ended up walking away with a bronze medal in the men's division. Just nailed a bronze medal for the women's division as well.
It's quite an impressive haul. I'm sure a week ago, if anyone had asked if the Australians would be happy with 2 bronze medals, they would have been ecstatic. Not to mention another 4th place finish from their mixed team. Incredibly strong showing from the Australian delegation. Just incredible play all week long from them as we go back to the mixed game.
Who's going to walk away with the gold? Japan or USA? It's absolutely anyone's game. Like I said before, with the scores tied on 10, who's going to take it? USA is coming out on offense, looking for a quick score.
And we're rapidly approaching time cap. At 100 minutes, we'll add one. We'll finish the point, add one to the highest score, and that will be our new target.
The disc is going to come in from the brick point with Anna Thompson. O-line handler. Just wrecking the field. Backhand, a big one. She's got 43 in sight. That's Jo Frund, who picks it up on the end zone line. Is this another score for America to just get out in front? Revere's got the disc. Back to Thompson, who had to do a little layout for it, but luckily she hung onto it. Tanner Johnson with the disc now. Around, that was the score, but there has been a pick on the field. Unfortunately, Freund can't hang on to that goal. Let's see if he can score it on this next one. Johnson's got the disc. That's Tanner Johnson over the top. Wow, big bid by Japan, who got in there to stifle that goal.
That was an exceptional play by the Japanese. Absolutely clutch in the moment, knowing that right now is
Injury
do or
call.
die. And it appears we've got an injury call. And they'll replace the player quickly. It's absolutely do or die team for both teams now. We're only moments away from time cap. We could well end up finishing this point and adding one to the highest score.
Looks like Alex Hardesty just came on to replace that injured player. Japan is on offense. Ooh, great hand block there by America right on the end zone line. What a great place to get a D. Let's see if they can do one of those classic offense. Oh, they've done it again. USA, well done. That was Claire Revere. One of the captains with that score, just chopping up.
Yeah, it ended up being quite an easy flip to the end zone for Revere. She's doing a great job of getting open and providing easy throws for her players. And we just heard the whistle go then for time cap, after that goal was scored, which means we'll finish this coming point. It's currently 11-10 to Japan, 11-10 to the US. And so we'll finish this point that's about to begin, and we'll add one to the highest score after that. So if the US score this one, it will be game to 13. If Japan score this point, it will be game to 12.
Right. Absolutely anyone's game. We've got to see who's going to come out on top. Japan looking really pumped and excited. A lot of supporters down the Japanese end zone line, giving lots of claps. I'm sure some of the crowd here, some of the foreign teams are looking to see if Japan can get it over the line and bring it for the gold.
Yeah, we've got quite a crowd gathering on the hill next to this showcase field at the UWA Sports Ground in Perth, Australia. They've been lucky enough to enjoy a full day so far of brilliant ultimate, and they've still got plenty more to come. After this match, we will have the women's gold medal, the North American El Clasico between Canada and the US, so stick around for that one once this one's complete. But we've got work to be done here as the pull goes up from Michaeling and will be fielded by Maguchi, who will receive it back. The Japanese isolating Murakami in the lane. He's been deadly for them in the air, taking a number of incredible grabs and Ds over players taller than him.
Those verts were just amazing.
Seki with the disc. Not a lot happening for him downfield, struggling to find an easy option. Eventually hits Maguchi. Maguchi has just been absolutely awesome for the Japanese this game. And there, as they look for him, as the stall count rose in a moment of desperation, there was a miscommunication and there was a turnover.
USA is going to come out on offense. Can they keep a level head and manage to hang on to it? Gucho Hanas with the disc, backwards cap. Flicks it up. Found Stubbs. Stubbs. Ooh, doesn't quite get there for number 8, Butterfield, and it looks like she went over the top of the Japan player. Might have hurt her shin.
Yeah, landed very heavily.
She looks all right, though. I don't think she's going off hurt. She's a tough cookie.
She is indeed. She's been throwing some absolutely buttery backhands this game. Now
Sure
look to her
has.
to continue to generate for them. As the Japanese have another opportunity in this do or die situation. This point incredibly crucial to them.
USA playing that classic match defense, nice and tight.
As Maguchi gets the disc. They'll want to keep the disc in his hands as much as possible. As Murakami fakes the big and instead goes underneath to Sasaki. Sasaki fakes the big and goes back to Maguchi.
Huge fakes here by Japan. They've been practicing those. Training.
Comes to the near sideline. Back to Maguchi. They're about half field now. Working it nicely upfield. And that's the inside backhand from Maguchi and a bit of contact following the catch on John Stubbs. I think he's going to call an injury.
Might have stubbed his toe.
He may have. There was definitely a bit of contact. I don't think he'll feel like it was too unwarranted. Both players just trying to make a play on that disc, but maybe jarred his neck or back a little bit and he'll come off.
USA putting on their best player to come in for him.
It's Japan now looking to move it again. Sasaki about 15 meters out, goes inside. It's a lovely little throw to Seki.
Oh!
Incredible bid.
Brought down there by Matt Gucho Hanas. What an incredible D. That was so good.
So clutch as we see another look at it. He made up so much distance.
Huge, right? He absolutely put everything into that and it paid off. Nice little backhand given to Best. Oh, fakes the big. Reset there to the middle with Gucho Hanas. Over on the far side to Ing. Ing's looking to flick it. He's got Kirsten Johnson inside and just put it a little bit too much out in front. Too many weak picks, I think, for Michael Ing.
Yeah, Michael Ing is a strong lad, but that time just put that one well too far. His receiver had plenty of separation and plenty of space, but lasered that one out in front, and these are tricky conditions to get it to sit nicely in. The disc will be fielded by Takuya Seki. All these players on the field now for Japan, having played a lot of points this game. We'll see how their conditioning holds up. They've been running incredibly hard. The Japanese, despite their reasonably large roster, have been shortening their rotation, recognizing that they need their stars out there if they're going to get this done. Maguchi.
Whoa.
An incredible layout!
Is USA about to get another goal? They've given it to Graham. Back over here, found Pojunas, looking to flick it. High stall count now, just got to get rid of it. She flicks it. Japan got in there for the D though. Just been turn this point.
Matt Gucho Hanas involved in everything. Two incredible layout Ds. And then he gets blocked himself. And Japan call a timeout. Maguchi recognizing the need to settle and to relax and have a breather. Both teams pushing themselves to the limit.
Can you hit us with some real fake stats again, Max, about this timeout that's called right in front of the end zone?
I can indeed. 80% of timeouts called midpoint result in a turnover. It is 100% true. It's been verified by Max Howden himself, the legendary coach of the Australian mixed team. So keep an eye out for whether the US are able to rely on that stat here or whether the Japanese will be that 20%, be the exception that proves the rule.
Of course, USA, 11 goals. Japan, 10. Who's going to come out on top? Anyone's game. Oh, we just saw some huge bids in that last point. That was really, really great frisbee.
Matt Gucho Hanas, absolutely explosive when he needs to be.
He got horizontal.
He's one of those players that when you watch him play, it feels like he's jogging about 90% of the time, and he's just so cool and calm and never feels like or looks like he's having to work. And then all of a sudden, we'll do something absolutely ridiculous like that.
He's setting up, Gucho Hanas setting up on the mark on D. Is he going to get a big hand block? We'll have to wait and see.
Maguchi and Gucho Hanas just clarifying maybe what the stall count will be when it comes in. I feel like Miguchi had called the timeout pretty immediately
Still on one.
when he picked up the disc before. Miguchi feels like there's perhaps something on the disc that he doesn't like. Something sticky perhaps, or wet, and he gives it a dry off in his shorts. And we're good to go. Murakami immediately heads to the end zone, but that throw doesn't come. I would love to see them send it. He's been explosive in the air.
Is he going to do it? Yes.
Yes, he does. He's looking for Izumi over the head of Graham, but Graham gets there.
Eaten up by Brett Graham. Gucho Hanas saying, I'm open, give it to me. Ing's got the disc on the close sideline, flicks it into space. Best little reset there. Oh no. Butterfingers from Butterfield. Couldn't hang on to it.
And now Japan get another chance. This point's turning into a bit of an epic one. So many turns, so many opportunities for both teams, and so many incredible plays being made. Vertical stack with Murakami isolated in the lane again. He immediately comes under, taking what's being given by the offense, by the defense, I should say. The disc finds its way back to Seki, back to Miguchi.
Way! Great bid there, it's paid off. That was Graham again. I think he's called a timeout, right?
Veteran move by Graham, saying, I've got the disc, we're 20 meters out. Let's be sure about this one, let's put it away. And it's timeout from the USA. There's probably no better time than this to thank our friends down at City Toyota Netherlands for their wonderful support this week. They provided the tournament with a number of support vehicles, Toyota Hiluxes and Hiaces that have served this tournament well, providing our transportation needs, ensuring that they're met. So thank you very much to them. Do head on down if you're a local. Pay them a visit, see if they can sort you out with a great deal. As we see again some of the ridiculous plays being made just in this last point alone.
Huge. Did you see how high he got on that D?
Yeah.
That was great.
Graham, deceptively good in the air despite his slightly smaller stature. The US undoubtedly having the physical size advantage against this Japanese team, but the Japanese are well used to playing against teams taller than they are. It's not something that phases them or that really even surprises them. They almost expect it when they come against a North American or European team. And now the US will set up with an incredibly well-spaced stack.
Yeah, a lot of space on the field. We're not going to see any picks here. Everyone's in their own space. Puts it out. Back to Johnson. She's on the flick side. She's giving it here to Gucho Hanas. Back to Graham with a backhand pass. Oh, he had to get on the ground to get it. Pojunas grabbed it. She's found her in the end zone.
And that's 12-10 to the USA. The US are on the doorstep. They're 1 point away from it all. The Japanese absolutely do or die. They have to score 3 in a row. It's game to 13.
Timeout, USA.
So the Japanese must score 3 in a row here or the game is over as the USA call a timeout.
Strategic move there by USA. They're feeling confident. I think the coach is just coming in telling them to keep a level head. The game's not over yet. Japan still could take it from us. Looking like they're in a pretty comfortable position. Looks like the win is within grasp, but they just can't become complacent. They've still got to make those connections, get the amazing plays just happening like we've been seeing all game.
I'm sure they'll just give their stars an opportunity to rest and get them back out there. It's been a number of familiar faces doing a lot of the work for the US this game. Graham, Gucho Hanas, Revere, Pojunas and Butterfield playing a lot of points and getting the job done for the US when they need it.
You've absolutely got to play your A players. You've got to play the best players on your team to get the gold.
That's right. There's nothing worth saving them for now. No need to rest legs. This could well be the last point of the World Championships for these teams. It all comes down to this. For the Japanese and for the US, it's sudden death. Japanese, very familiar lineup. No surprises there. A lot of familiar faces. Maguchi will have work to do this point if he wants to lead this team to victory. He's been dominating the stat sheet in this mixed division. We'll have to see whether he can dominate the US as well.
We're going to see a pull here by number 43, Joe Freund. He's got the win behind him, which is just picked up just then. Kept it in.
Now Maguchi with the disc. The Japanese just trying to do their best to take the easy options. Yahata to Haruma. Not a lot opening up. Nice inside forehand to find Nakano.
Another pick called.
Nakano, the captain of this team, will need to show some leadership at this point. Keep the ship steady, pilot it upfield.
A lot of love for both teams on the live stream chat. Thank you so much to everybody watching at home sending us in some messages.
Nakano not happy with what he sees upfield, goes back to Maguchi. Maguchi goes inside forehand to Nakano. That's a lovely throw. Not easy in these conditions, but he makes it look so. Muraoka, 8 meters out. He's got Maguchi, doesn't want him. He goes for the around backhand, doesn't like it. Instead, finding Haruma. He finds Yahata, moving it quickly, and they find Sato in the end zone. Game is still on. It's 12-11 to the US, but the Japan team clearly willing to fight to the death.
Wow, Japan are absolutely still in it. Japan 11, USA 12. It's so tight.
It is so tight indeed. Japanese getting the job done at that point, but the question remains to be answered, can they get the job done? Not once more, but twice more. They have to play absolutely perfect. As we see that lovely throw from Maguchi, that is very tricky.
That was truly amazing.
If you're not an ultimate player, you may not appreciate the difficulty of that throw in this wind, but Maguchi displaying his skills, just putting that one exactly where it needed to be, onto the chest of his captain, Nakano. And it is still game point to the US. They just need to put one in the other end zone.
And of course, US is going to come out on offense. Let's see if they can manage to hang on to it, have no turnovers. If they do and punch it in the goals, they will win themselves a gold medal.
Do you think the Japanese go match, or do they go zone at this point, Steph?
If I was Japan, I would put on that amazing zone. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see from Japan, because it really seemed to stifle the US players earlier. They hung on to it, but the US players they had to just cycle through the handlers again and again. It seemed really hard for them to break through that amazing Japanese zone.
Yeah, let's see whether they take your advice, Steph, and test the patience and composure of the US. A lovely pull from the Japanese.
They've got the disc towards the middle of the field. Michael Ing's got it. Over here to Griffith. Cheeky little backhand there to Pojunas, who flicks it on the far side. There's some players running deep. He's got deep options, but he decides to reel it in. Reset, handler reset, back to Kirsten Pojunas, one of the superstar USA female players. Graham had it over the top.
And that's out the sideline. The US not perfect, and the Japanese with an opportunity. The pressure is on, however.
They can absolutely capitalize here. Is this Japan's chance at it?
We will find out as Ohashi walks slowly towards the disc.
There's a stoppage because I think one of the players is calling injured. She went down like a sack of bricks. That was Alison Griffith going off with an injury. I hope it's nothing too serious.
After her valiant effort to keep that one alive, she will be replaced.
She was hanging on to the back of her neck as she walked off injured. We've got Julia Butterfield coming on in to replace her.
Butterfield has played a lot of points this game. And play will restart with Ohashi.
Oh,
looking immediately to Murakami, but despite his best efforts and sideways layout, can't hold on.
Michael Ng picking up the disc, looking downfield first. Giving it there to Gucho Hanas. Disc is here with Graham, giving it up to Gucho Hanas again. Backhand there. Ooh, Japan had a sniff at it, but couldn't quite get in there. Stubbs hung on to it, but I think there might have been another...
Travel called.
a call made. It was a travel.
Yeah, I'm wondering what your perspective was.
I don't think you necessarily stopped as quickly as you probably could have.
Okay, cool. It's a travel. Coming back here.
The disc will return into the hands of Gucho Hanas after getting a bit of perspective from our game advisors.
Resets it back to the handler. USA still looking composed. I think they've got the gold in sight, but it's really not phasing them. Oh, that was close. Gucho Hanas made Ningjing to hang on to it. Quick little 1-2 action between Michael Ng, Gucho Hanas. Brett Grumman's got it. Ng's got it. Back to Michael Ng. Is it a shot here? It was another travel called.
A couple of calls now on this point. The US not phased, looking to just continue to play their game.
Can they do it? Is this the end of the mixed final? Ooh, not quite in yet.
And that's it.
They've bloody done it, USA, with another gold medal in the mixed division.
Matt Gucho Hanas reels that one in from inches above the turf. And that's all she wrote on the mixed division. The US jubilant, the Japanese devastated as they crumpled to the ground in a heap.
Silver medal is an absolutely valiant effort by the Japanese. They've got to be, it's not the top shelf prize, but it's a very good prize out of all of these, out of all of the teams that have come down to play in the mixed division.
Yeah, look, it's a wonderful effort by both teams, but silver often leaves a bit of a sour taste in the mouth, as losing that last game can be tough. The Japanese should be proud, though.
It was a really tight game. We saw some huge bids. There we go. That was the end goal, securing the USA another gold medal.
2 from 2 for the USA. Perfect record so far. Straight after this game, we've got the women's, and we'll see if they can go 3 from 3.
Oh my gosh, of course, USA men's got up over Italy men's earlier today, and that's how they came away with the gold then. We've just seen some really amazing plays in the mixed division. It's great to see so much heart and confidence and skill on the field.
It really has been, and all the teams in this final, especially utilising their entire rosters, it's great to see that the women often proving the decisive factor in these matches. Gender equity is something that is highly valued in Ultimate, and we love to support that and see that in action on the field. Both teams making incredible plays from their men and from their women. And so that's it from the World Under-24 Ultimate Championships in the mixed division. The USA coming away victors 13-11. I've been Max Stenstrom, keeping you company in the booth.
I'm Steph Ma. Thanks so much for tuning in all over the world. I know we had a lot of people online. Thank you for listening to us. But stay tuned, because we've got the women's grand final coming up really shortly. That's going to be USA women's versus Canada women's.
To you.